Well, what's going on and welcome back, and I really think that my M&P fans are gonna love a little bit of this action right here. Now, I've been getting deeper and deeper into the M&Ps, and I've kind of had a sordid history with Smith & Wesson. I did a video when I first did my M&P review. I'll leave a link in the description down there for you guys. But I had a really bad experience with that first generation of the Smith & Wesson Sigma, which is the precursor to the SW9 and the SW40. Now, Smith & Wesson came out with their M&P, and it had a pretty big impact on the market. And yeah, they did get sued back in the day by Glock for basically stealing their design. But they have come out with a very nice pistol, and it definitely surprised me quite a bit, and I've become more and more of a fan of it. Now, the issue between the M&Ps and the Glocks is aftermarket stuff you can do to them. There is not nearly the following or the aftermarket support for the Smith & Wesson platform as there is for Glock. But I'm definitely telling you, I really think you M&P guys are gonna like what's going on with this one. Now, a couple months back when I actually got this pistol and I started doing some stuff to it and really training with it and seeing how it actually functioned as compared to some other stuff, I wanted to start looking for mag wells, and I really wasn't having the best luck trying to find any that I thought were all that great. And I found a company online called Floyds Custom Shop. Now, I called over there and started talking to the owner about a mag well and doing a review here for the channel for you guys. But then I just happened to notice a slide cut that he had on his website called the Poseidon Commander. And I'll tell you what, you will see just how slick this slide cut is when we get up close to this thing. He also did a little bit of barrel porting, and I do have his mag well and his mag extensions coming, and that's going to be in another review by itself. Now, when I saw that slide cut, I pretty much just had to have it. It looked just absolutely awesome. And then I kind of had the idea to do that multi-cam black on this thing like you can see there, and it turned out just absolutely awesome. And we are going to take a nice long look at this thing up close. Now, the best part about the barrel porting that he did do for me, it's pretty slick. You can see in there, there's some nice porting on the slide if my camera will focus in right there. And it's very cool, and it is directional, so it's not blowing back in your face as you're shooting the gun. But the best part is it works the factory guide rod and spring. I had no malfunctions with this at any point while I was firing this weapon after that porting work was done. And that's a big plus, because sometimes when you get to lightening up slides or doing some barrel porting, you can run into some malfunction issues, and I have had that in the past. And that was definitely not the case with the Floyds custom stuff. So I am really digging the M&P 2.0 platform, and I am digging what some of these companies are starting to do out there for them. There are other companies out there that do have some level of support for the M&Ps, but a couple other companies that used to do slide work and stuff like this have either stopped doing it or have gone out of business just because they couldn't keep up with the market and everything that was going on with it. Now, we're definitely going to take a look at this up close. So the cost on this was right on point with a fairly budget Glock slide job. And I found that to be pretty interesting because since there's not a whole lot of people out there doing M&P slide work, I kind of figured I was going to take it in the pants on this one and spend quite a bit more money than I thought. But Floyds is actually treating people pretty good out there on the price. And there are a ton of options, so you can go from basic to absolutely crazy Gucci expensive if you want. And then obviously there is some different costs when it comes to the coating you go with and what pattern you go with. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get into this thing and we're gonna check it out and give you guys everything you need to know about getting your slide done on an M&P if that's something that you're looking at. And if you guys like what's going on with the channel here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Leave a comment down below on if the M&P is something you are looking at doing any modifications to, and we're gonna get into this thing right now. All right, people, we are going to jump into the M&P 2.0 that Floyds Custom did for me. Just take one good overall look at this thing. So he did his Poseidon Commander cut on this thing, and you can see it's just awesome. All the machine work around there. He ported that barrel for me, and this thing is, not only are these cuts absolutely aggressive, but they're functional and they just look flat out badass, guys. And that multi-cam black coating that they did is perfect. So we're gonna break this thing down and we're gonna take a good look at this right here, because I think you guys are definitely going to like what is going on. So we'll talk about the Seracote work first. You guys can take a really good look at that, and it is just absolutely flawless. Now there's a lot of work that goes into doing something in multicam or some kind of geocam or some crazy design like that. And this just turned out really, really good, guys. And Seracote works kind of like an art form sometimes, just like any other painting or stuff like that. So we'll get into the actual machine work now. So we got those really nice and aggressive angular serrations. I'll give you a look at that. You guys can kind of see they get a little deeper the further back they go into the slide. So they're actually angled into the slide like that, which is good because it gives you a lot to grab onto. Move forward, very tastefully done logo right there, guys. You can just barely see it. It's kind of hidden, that little F. Well done. I'm not a fan of having huge logos, especially when it's not my company. So good stuff. We move forward, we got a very nice sectioned off part of the slide in there. We've got kind of a stepped window design right there. You got that first edge and then it goes down into the window. Very nice work. Then we go into those angular front serrations again. I mean, look at all that detail in there. That is absolutely perfect machine work in there. Follow it off to the nose, guys, and check out that stepped portion of the nose right there. I didn't even notice that first on that Poseidon Commander cut that he had pictures of up, but you can see just how clean the machine work is and how much detail they got in there. Very, very ornate, at the same time very functional to grab a hold of. Opposite side is the same thing. We've got that really good machine work, very nice step work on there. Kind of has that locked back design right there, almost like a couple other companies do. Got some good serrations across the top there for those one-handed manipulations off the heel of your boot or something. Then we got that machine work up in that barrel. We're gonna pull that out and take a look at it. Just wanted you to see it in the gun. You can see those ports. You can see those. So it's gonna be a little bit tough to see up in here, guys, I know, but you can just barely tell and make out that the ports on the slide here are actually angular. And there's a reason they are angular. And that reason is to ensure that the gases and anything disperses the appropriate direction. So the ports in the rear are angled forward like that. And then the ports on the side here have a slight angle both out to this side and out to the opposite side. The reason for that is the gas is coming out of here, and you know, any frag or anything like that, they want that to go forward and out to the side. It's kind of common sense. You don't want that stuff coming back when it comes to price, guys. So whether you want the RMR cut like I did, I got the Glock sight dovetail cut out back there so I can use regular Glock sights. These are the sights that he put on there for me, and they have multiple options for sights over there for you guys. But I want to say from top of my head, the cuts were starting to right at 200 bucks and they go up from there, which is very typical. And then the more aggressive you get and the more color options you get, the price goes up from there. But one last look at this thing, guys. I mean, I can tell you this thing was a blast to shoot, and it came out looking absolutely awesome, guys. I wish I had sent the whole gun. I should have just sent the whole frame and everything and had it all done in that multicam black, because they did that good of a job. So we're gonna go ahead and get back up into the chair, guys, and finish this up. So that thing just came out absolutely sick. And the M&P by nature is a very good shooting gun, but this porting on the barrel did definitely take away some of that muzzle flip on there. I could definitely feel the difference between when I had originally been shooting this and with that barrel porting on there. And I can say it did make quite a bit of difference. Now the fact that it functions with the factory guide rod and spring in there is a huge plus, because now you don't have to go looking for aftermarket springs and guide rods and some of those other issues that we run into when we're doing slide work and barrel porting on different guns like Glocks or anything else. And as you guys saw up close, the amount of intricate detail that he was able to get into this slide was definitely a bit of a surprise to me, because my understanding was the slides were a little bit thinner on the walls on the Gen 2, or excuse me, the 2.0 as compared to the 1.0. And I wasn't quite sure if he was going to be able to do that cut that I was looking for that I saw on his webpage, or I think I saw it on his Instagram first. And he's like, nope, not a problem, send that thing in. It's there's plenty of machine work there. We've never had an issue. So I definitely sent that off to him, and he did just a great job. Now he did also hook me up with that RMR cut like I showed you guys, and those taller sights. So they redo the rear of the slide to fit those Glock sights in like I showed you up close. Now, one of the other things you have to be a little bit cognizant of is up in here, The safety plunger on the trigger mechanism is actually underneath the sight from the factory, but since we've moved the sight a little bit to the rear, it's actually going to be underneath the RMR plate now. So you definitely have to pay attention to that when you're taking your RMR plate off and on. That thing is under spring tension and it could come out possibly if you're not paying attention to what you're doing when you break it down. So I know one of the big questions you guys are going to be asking is, tell me about the lead time on this thing. Now I sent it off to Floyds Custom Shop and I want to say it took about 2 weeks to come right back at me. However, those things do go up and down depending on the time of the year. Right now it's like mid-May, summertime, everybody's spent their tax return, and things in the industry tend to slow down this time of year. So that's typically a good thing if you're looking to get something on a quick turnaround. But I can almost guarantee you, Floyds has become a little bit more popular recently just because he's becoming more well known. Now that could play into how long the lead time can go up to, but I would say expect anywhere from a 2 to 4 week lead time, which is generally pretty much where you're gonna be at when you're getting some custom slide work in something like this. So let's talk cost, guys. Like I said, this is right in that budget slide work that you would normally find on like a Glock. And that kind of surprised me because not a lot of people doing this kind of stuff to the M&Ps right now. And I kind of thought that it was going to be quite a bit more expensive than it was. So the basic cuts on his website start at $175. And then one like this Poseidon Commander starts at about $200. And then you start adding your options of whether you want the barrel ported or you want the RMR cut and the RMR plate. Those are options, but starting at that $175 to $200 mark is definitely pretty aggressive and was a lot cheaper than I thought I was actually gonna have to pay for up front. And you guys are definitely gonna be getting your money's worth out of this. Like you saw up close, I mean, the line work and the coat work on this is just absolutely great, guys. It turned out 100% flawless and functioned absolutely flawlessly. Almost makes me wish I had another 2.0 or another M&P so I could do a little something different. Because now that my mind's working, I almost want to do some kind of distressed satin build with another one. Maybe that'll be coming in the future, maybe not. We'll have to see. And then if you guys are interested in any of the other M&P stuff on here, I will have links for everything down below for you guys. If you're on YouTube, you know you got to check that first link in the description and it'll take you to a page where everything is listed for you to check out. There will definitely be more M&P stuff coming, to include that Apex trigger kit that's in here now, some different magazine extensions, that magwell from Floyds as well, and then of course the TLR7 light that I put on here because I wanted to keep this gun very nice and compact as it sits now. So if you guys like what's going on with the channel here and you like seeing this stuff and getting honest and unbiased reviews, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. If you need those notifications, that bell icon is there for you. If you guys like the content in the video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, go ahead and fling your G-string at the thumbs down button in an even number of times. Get out there on the range, guys, have some fun, and I will see you all on the next one.